Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Today, this is going to be an interesting video, right? So we're going to make a video on, I don't know why I'm wearing my headset right now. We're going to make a video on why FIFA is a dead game and why it isn't a dead game, right? So we're going to get into the is. Now, when we get into the is part of it, we're looking at it from a video game perspective, because at the end of the day, this is what this is. It's very far from it being a football simulator at this point, so we're going to be looking at it from a video game point of view. For me personally, if I was a regular consumer of this game and I didn't create content on it whatsoever, right? If I was a regular consumer of this game for me personally would be dead the first month or 2 months into the game, and I'll explain why. Okay, so when you get into Ultimate Team, the different game modes that you guys have already heard this before in the past, and this is what I'm going to be talking about all the time, right? When you get into Ultimate Team, you have different gameplay game modes in Division Rivals, Foot Champs, Foot Drafts, and then single matches, right? So, single matches is a waste of time to play because you're only making match coins, but as we all know, you're wasting contracts, you're wasting fitness, which costs a lot of money, so it's a very, very pointless game mode, right? We'll get into that in a bit. Foot Champs, which is a stressful concept of a game mode, right? Where over the course of the weekend, you have 30 games where if you lose just one game out of those 30 games, you already don't want to play the game anymore because it's already too stressful for the concept of every single win is very important, every single loss is very important. I know that people like Foot Champs being in the game, but in any other community, people would not like that concept being your only good gameplay game mode that actually gives you content for actually playing the game and not having to use the market and stuff. So there's that as well. And then there's Division Rivals, where for me personally, after you hit the higher divisions, there's just no more reason to play this game. And I'll explain why, right? Because the gameplay content in this game, again, we're looking at this from a point of view of a regular person. We're not even going to get into the gameplay part because you guys know how I feel about the gameplay, okay? From a game perspective, a video game perspective, there's a huge misbalance in everything, okay? Because when you hop onto FIFA, people don't only want to face competitive, sweaty players and the same players all the time. They want to hop onto the game and play with different players, experience different things so that they can enjoy the game. Obviously still try to win, but not have this concept of being forced to always use the set meta players, because when you're in Division Rivals and you're in Division, honestly, I would say if you're in Division 3, 2, 1, all the players are of very similar caliber, right? And when you get to these high divisions, right, the game just becomes incredibly boring to play because of the fact that everyone is using the same players, using the same formations to win their games. And there's no variety anymore, right? In football, especially in a football video game, the variety that this game should have in comparison to other video games in general, no matter what genre it is, this should have way more content than any other game. Just because of the football concept, you have to use different formations, different tactics. There's thousands upon thousands of players. They release informs that no one ever uses because they're just not usable for the meta. The starting 11 over here doesn't look too bad, but I would still never see them ever. And then they have a bunch of informs here that are just never used because for the concept of the game mode right now, it's fully meta oriented, right? So if you don't use meta cards, you don't really progress forward, right? As a video game, playing the actual game to get rewards is also not worth it. If you're in Division 1 and you get Division 1 rank 1, a person in Division 4 rank 3 could get better rewards than you, because the way that the rewarding system works for you facing harder opposition for those rewards is just not good enough. But I think that the biggest, right, misbalance in this game is them not having a good regular game mode, right? And I've tried to preach this to the EA devs a lot, and I think it's very important in this game. I'm at the point as a regular consumer of the game that I'm very well aware that they're probably never going to remove Foot Champs, although the concept of it is terrible. The reward system could be different for the other game modes or spread out evenly throughout the other game modes. But I just think that the most important thing that this game really needs right now is the online tournament mode of the World Cup. Not the format of getting those players and you know, it being a Champions League game mode or a Europa League game mode, but just having that as a regular game mode, 3 qualifying rounds, and you go through the rounds to use different players, different teams, I think is a good balance, right? I think Division Rivals is a good inclusion in the game, but right now in the current state of this game, this is why it's dead. You hop on, you look at the screen, you don't want to play anymore. Why? Because this game mode is useless. This game mode is incredibly stressful. This game mode is good if you have a balance of taking this game mode out and putting online tournament mode in, so that when you play during the weekdays, you have to have that concept of, okay, I'm going to go into the meta game type and gain my competitive points so that I can get rank 1 Division 1, right? So I can get the rewards by the end of the week. And then once I'm done doing that, because nobody wants to play competitive players for the entire day because it's exhausting, right? And it's the only game mode you could do that in that actually gives you game rewards by the end of the week, not even every day. Because you're basically, when you're playing Division Rivals, you're essentially playing online single match, but you just have to wait a full week to actually get your rewards. Stupid concept, right? So because you have to wait the full week, having an online tournament where you can get a consistent amount of coins, right, just through playing with different teams, different players, which is the biggest thing, right? When you play the online tournament, you would be able to do that and not have to worry about the meta all the time. Would people still go into the game mode with meta cards? Absolutely, because there's just people like that don't want to play competitive people, but they want to use their competitive teams in the online tournament. That's definitely a possibility. But you as a person would be more prone to trying out different teams because you know that the matchmaking is more open and you'll come up against different teams all the time, right? Because if you hit Division 1 and Division Rivals, you will never once in your entire life see someone using players that are not the meta. You just won't see it. Draft could be so much better too, right? As a game mode, it definitely needs to be improved, because draft is the only game mode that is quote unquote fun in this game, but you have to pay 15K to lose money. Because that's what you're doing, right? When you win the draft and you win the whole thing, you don't get 15K back in return. And I've actually calculated it for the last this was a couple weeks ago when I was playing a little bit consistently. When I was playing drafts, I calculated each reward in terms of contracts, fitness cards, and I'm telling you guys, I would literally get like 11 or 12K for winning the draft. So I would actually lose 3K for winning the draft. And it seems like the concept of some people is that, oh, but you get to try out different cards. If you win the draft, it doesn't matter if I get to try out different cards or not. Any game, any other gaming community, when a concept like that happens, you make more because you basically bet on yourself to win. It's like playing the old Call of Duty game types where it was like those money games where you would put a certain amount of money in and you would say who you think would win. If it was yourself, then you would win all that money, right? There's no concept like that in draft. You could try out different formations, different players. It's the only game mode that you will experience that in, and that's why it's fun in that regard. It's fun because you will come up against different teams. Although some people will still try to go for meta. I go for meta because it's just the way that the game mode works, right? But it would be nice to be able to use different players. I want to have the feeling of wanting to use a Liga NOS team. You know, I want the feeling of being able to use a different team and not being fully screwed for it. Do I still want to win the games when I play it? Absolutely. But good luck doing that in Division Rivals where nobody, and I repeat, not a single soul in the top divisions is going to do that. They're just not going to do that, right? This game makes more sense, right? If you're a Division 5 player, Division 4 player. Even when you hit Division 4, it starts getting questionable yet, right? But when you're in those lower tier divisions, I can see why people would enjoy this game more. Because you're not facing try-hard sweats with the same team. Because when I used to play in Division 5 and 4, yeah, you do come up against some different teams. Not always the same team. You come up with the unique squads, which is just very nice for the brain, right? And it's just always the same. When you hit the top, it's like there's just no reason to play. And then the joke of rewards that exists for the higher tier divisions for facing harder oppositions, I feel like we don't really need to get into that, right? Gameplay, content wise, in terms of making coins, it's not worth it in this game. And even when you do get good coins, what are you going to use it towards? To play more Division Rivals and more FUT Champs? No, right? Like, you want to make coins so that you can make different teams. The thing that I hate the most in FIFA, and this is why This is the only reason why, like, I hate FIFA 15 because it also had inconsistent gameplay. But I liked FIFA 15 because I literally had like 8 different teams, 9 different teams, 10 different teams. I don't remember. It was like it was so many. I had a regular rare gold EPL. I would actually switch between my regular EPL gold and my full team of the season Bundesliga. Like, that's how much I wanted to use different teams during those times, right? In FIFA, there's no concept of wanting to collect different teams so that if I go into my... This is the one thing I miss about this game. I've had this team for the whole year. For the whole year. So far, for the whole year, I've had this exact same team. But I would like, if I were to go into my squads, and I can just scroll all the way down and have different teams. One that's set up with a 4-4-2, a 4-1-2-1-2, and just have different players in different positions with different set tactics for each team, right? That concept doesn't exist in this game. This game is purely about winning, and especially since the meta in this game is so broken. Like, don't get me wrong, this new patch taking out the finesse shots, God bless it, so happy they took it out. And the fact that we recently found out about the driven finesse shot, we as in the guys that didn't know about it, I'm one of those guys that didn't know about it, but it's been in the game, and it's been in FIFA since the beginning of the game. God bless, we have like a way to score 1v1s even with the manual goalkeeping and stuff. But the thing is, right, is that they still have that overpowered crossing mechanic. Basically, it's you go backwards, and then from the backwards, you don't take the extra touch. You just cross the ball far post, and your player transitions from up to down to hit the header. And if you have players like Gareth Bale or Ibrahimovic, they're probably going to win the ball most of the times in the air over your defenders, because the transition of them having the momentum to move up, down, or down, up allows them to score those opportunities, right? So in that regard, the game is stupid too. A lot of comments that I would normally see from people is, I guess people will always be complaining, and this person knows who it is because, or these people know who they are, because I get these all the time, that people will always complain. The thing that people need to understand this community, right, is that, and people may not see it this way, but it's very possible. It's possible to make a FIFA game that mostly everybody likes. It is. Because here's the thing, right? There will be a transition period where people will not like the game, right? And when people do not like the game, if there is, you have to see it. If you see a content creator's content and you see it from an unbiased point of view, right, in terms of mechanics that benefit themselves or mechanics that just make sense in the game and is actually fun, that's what you have to look at, right? You can't go on YouTube and then find these overpowered mechanics and then being like, oh, I really want to play this game that is completely broken, right? For me, for instance, when I am reviewing FIFA gameplay, I just want the game to be as good as possible. In terms of the gameplay balance right now, there can be an acceptable state, right? Now, obviously, inconsistent gameplay is unacceptable, and it's incompetence from the highest order from EA that they haven't fixed it yet. But in regards to their specific mechanics, right? Finesse shots, the far post crosses, it is unbalanced, right? And they have transitioned the game well to remove the finesse shots, but it's been like 4 months, right? Or it's the September, October, November, December, January. It's been 5 months, right? Because we're at the end of January by now. It's been 5 whole months of the game just basically being unplayable, right? So that's why the game is quote unquote dead, right? Why is this game not dead? The simplest answers I can give you guys, and these are the 2 biggest things with why Ultimate Team in general is not a dead game mode, is because of 1, the content that EA keeps putting out, we're going to be getting into that, the content that EA keeps putting out, right? And it was there was 2 different things. It was the content and the SBCs. Wow, I completely lost track of what the other one was going to be. Yeah, but that's the biggest one, right? The content and the SBCs that EA keeps rolling out with is what saves this game. Because if this game did not have this content, this game would have been dead a very long time ago. Because the thing that carries your game normally in the video game world, is your gameplay. If the gameplay of the game isn't fun, all the achievements and challenges that you do seem very pointless, right? But in FIFA, the community that we have is very different, right? Because the game nowadays is a glorified trading card game, right? And that part of this game is its saving grace. That's why the game is still relevant. Oh, I remember the second one. The second one is because it's football, right? Football is a world-renowned sport, right? For me, it's my entire life. Even though I haven't made videos in the last 2 days and I haven't streamed in like a week, 2 weeks, or whatever, however long it's been, I still watch football. I still, when I talk to my friends, I still talk about transfers that might be going down because that's my life. And that's other people's lives too. So being able to go into this game and being able to control one player and just press one button to pass the ball to someone else, just that, just the football concept is what makes people keep coming back. Because this game, right, if it was a regular video game and it wasn't a sports game that is a world-renowned sport that people love the sport, not the game, the sport, people wouldn't come back to this game, right? Because look at what happened to Battlefront. Battlefront, they created this really huge pay-to-win aspect when the game first came out. I think it was for the first one or the second one. I can't remember exactly. I think it was the first one. It was the second one. And the pay-to-win concept was like you had to pay to get the better characters to basically destroy everybody else, right? And for the gaming community, when they play Battlefront, it was completely unacceptable, right? Because the game was completely pay to win, right? But we deal with this like all the time, right? But why is this game not dead? It's because of the content that they keep putting out. It's because of the football aspect. Let me give you guys my opinion about EA's content. EA is not giving you content unless it is cards that are affordable in the SBCs, because as you guys know, gameplay rewards is not good enough, right? So spending 300K on a Wayne Rooney through gameplay content is shit, okay? If you use the market and you trade, fair play, but if you do only gameplay, which every other gaming community does, 300K is not worth it for that Wayne Rooney, right? Is it worth it in the price range for basically team of the season stats, team of the year stats? Yes, but it's not worth it because the amount of coins that you get in this game through playing the game is shit, unless you are a menu enthusiast, which is what this game is nowadays. You have to be a menu enthusiast to get these cards, which makes no sense to me because when I buy FIFA, I buy the game because I want to play the game, right? If let's just say, God forsaken, I actually got into the market, right? I was into it, and I actually did get the players. What then? What am I going to do with those players? I'm going to go play these shitty game modes in Division... Well, sorry, excuse me. Let me change my words. Division Rivals is not a shitty game mode. Foot Champs is, right? But I'm going to go into these game modes, only play Division Rivals, top divisions, playing against sweats, using the same players all the time. Foot Champs, where if you lose one game, it makes you so angry because there's a quantity amount, right? Online single match where you only get 500 coins for playing one game, no progression system whatsoever. Or draft where you pay 15K that you cannot use your regular players that you're buying to put in your team. You have to do tactics based off of the formation you're using in the game. Huge misbalance, right? So that's why this game is a glorified trading card game now. Because there's people that are literally not playing the game, but they're just collecting the content in the game. Again, let's get back into the content part. EA, most of the times, as a regular video game consumer, playing other games, because I know that some people are just really fixated on FIFA, and they literally have never experienced it. Some people have, like, just the way that people make their comments, have never experienced anything else, right? In FIFA, this is not content, okay? Because... let's just say, for instance, they release that new promo of the Superstar promo, whatever the hell it was called, right? Their promos is not content because you're paying. Hear this out. You have to pay for the content. You know how regular gamers get really annoyed that they have to pay for DLC nowadays, that the game never comes fully completed because they always have to pay for these extra DLCs to get more content? We do that all the time, okay? Vinicius Jr., again, only because gameplay content does not give you enough coins. Vinicius Jr.'s new card, right? And I haven't played this game in 2 weeks. Look at how expensive this thing is. 2.4 million Even if I had 1,000 games on my record right now, consistently grinding FUT champs, consistently grinding division rivals, I probably still would not have that much coins, right? You have to pay for the content that they give you, okay? The fact that you can't even search for the specific inform cards is annoying, right? But I have to think of players at the top of my head. Dembele. I don't know if Dembele is even in this transfer. I don't know if he's only an SBC card because I don't know the content in this game. I don't know how it works, right? He might only be an SBC card. By the looks of it, he actually might be. Let's see if I can actually make a minimum here. Just to see how much this card costs, if he costs... Yeah, so he's an SBC card. Let me think of somebody else. There's Vinicius Jr. There's... Eder Militao is also an SBC. I can't even think of players at the top of my head right now. There's Nelson. Nelson's not gonna be that expensive because composure and finishing is shit. But you guys get the point, right? You're paying for this content, right? Unless EA, right? Here, this is what content is for me. Content is for me is when you're playing the game, that's how you unlock the stuff. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 has content. They have content. This is not content. You get, bro, you can get a Marco Royce Player of the Month card. I'm pretty sure this guy already has like 3 cards. You get one, there's no point in getting the other 2 because you can't trade in your old one for a new one, right? Because EA, you know what I mean, right? These SBCs here, Joelinton. I'm probably not pronouncing his name right? 84 team chemistry. What's this one? Brazilian players, Hoffenheim players, a team chemistry 84. That's not bad. I'm okay with that one, right? There's certain SBC requirements that are okay. Like Ibrahimovic had a team of the year card that you would pay like 200k for, and it's ridiculous for the card that you're basically getting, right? Even if the crossing meta wasn't a thing, he would still be a usable card because he had significant stat increases. But someone like Alphonso Davies, right? Let's see what this guy's thing is. Look, you have to get 2 team of the week players, Bayern players. Your team overall rating has to be 85. There's so many SBCs to do for these top rated cards, right? There's so many to do. And you just don't make enough money gameplay wise to be able to do all of it, even if you grinded the game like crazy, right? But if you're a market guy and you're using the menus and stuff, and that's what content is on YouTube nowadays. When you guys look at content on YouTube, how often do you guys actually see someone playing the game for content? How often do you see it? It's mostly doing the menu stuff. Oh, new SBC came out, let me just complete it for my viewers, right? And I'm not judging because that there's always like a tone in FIFA, or not. It's not tone. There's always a, I can't even remember the name for it now. There's always like a thing. There's always a thing. Like 2 years ago, it was, oh, I need to get like a 195 draft or a 196 draft, and when draft first came out, it was actually about gameplay. It was actually about people watching the gameplay for them to watch you get your draft rewards. Blah blah blah. Nowadays, it's market stuff. If you're a market content creator, you're gonna blow up because the game, again, is a trading card simulator. That's what it's become nowadays, right? But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not dead strictly because of 2 points. Because of football, right? Because of football, which is the biggest reason why. Because if it's a regular video game, this game dies so fast, okay? And because of the content that EA are throwing out, right? This recent content of the stars is cool because some of them are usable cards, but they're still very expensive, right? They're still very, very expensive cards. So that's just my thoughts in regards to the state of FIFA, right? I think that the game in general, as a video game, it just blows, right? It just blows. There's nothing. These packs you get from the pre-orders too. I'm gonna open it just for you guys because I know some people in the comment section are gonna be like, "Oh my God, Inception, please open them." Watch, they're gonna give me like an icon now because I've been talking all this smack. But guys, I'm a very fair person when I judge video games, right? if something annoys me, but I know it's my fault, it doesn't annoy me anymore. Because I know it's my fault that I don't like that certain thing. You know what I'm saying? But in FIFA, there's so many bad things in this game that all you can do is complain. Because there's very, very few things that are actually good. The fact that we are 4 months, 5 months into the game, and you still cannot switch players in-game when you want to, because your players could be switched into different positions. It's just, this isn't the company where it's like, oh, you know, but oh, you got to give them a break and what. It's just not. It's not that type of company, right? I just wanted to let you guys know that my thoughts towards FIFA. Hopefully, this new gameplay patch, gameplay-wise, I can actually enjoy it again. But right now, me looking at the menu, like even before the patch, the only thing I can see myself doing in this game, no matter what day it is, during the weekdays, the weekends, or whatever, is playing draft. I would actually, at this point in my life playing this game, if I was a regular person, the only time I would touch this game is to play drafts. And Division Rivals if they had a good regular game mode, right? Because I don't want to go from draft to Division Rivals, because draft, you have to use tactics because you are forced to use a formation. But there's no practice to try out different tactics and formations because there's no game mode like that. Oh, let me go do it in online single match. Let me go waste my contracts in fitness because they cost so goddamn much to try, just to try something. I want to try something. Can't do that because you're not making enough rewards back to try those things, right? The only thing I could see myself playing is draft. Because look, I go into draft right now. Look at my team, right? Look at the team that I'm using. First of all, I'm using Richarlison as a center mid. Fabinho as a center back, even though he's actually meta. I get to use Guendouzi, Del Piero, Lukaku, Lanzini. It's different. You know what I mean? It's different. I'm using a 4-1-2-2. I'm being forced to use Eric Dyer as a CDM, being forced to use the Lanzinis and the Lukakus. It makes it fun because it's different. You know what I mean? That's the only reason why this game mode is the saving grace of this game, but it's also the shit stain of this game because the rewards are so terrible, man. So terrible. Like, you could see it when you play this game. If you're a regular dude, you would just look at this, drink your coffee, and be like, wow, this game really is a cash cow. Because you're going to collect different players for what? To go play them in Division Rivals? This game is all meta. The game will always be meta-oriented, but let us try different things in a regular game mode, like the online tournament mode. And guys, the thing is, man, is that the reason why, from a regular point of view, this game is dead, the reason why is because we're already in January. We're already at the end of January, so you know that they're not going to add the online tournament mode. Even though I've been begging for it since the freaking, like, 3rd week of the game coming out. Because I already knew this was going to... I remember telling Spencer in a Discord call before, Spencer, they don't have any regular game modes. This game is going to die for the regular person, right? Because there's nothing to play to try out the teams. If you hit Division 3, you're Division 3, Division 2, Division 1. My friend who recently hit Division 4, he stopped playing the game. He's like, dude, this game just sucks now. He's like, and it's not because he's losing, it's because he's always coming up against people that are doing that crossing mechanic with Ibrahimovic. And he's just like, dude, every single person has Ibrahimovic and they're crossing the ball. I'm not playing this. That's what's happening right now, okay? With FIFA. Like, this game needs such a massive overhaul. I'm not even gonna get into the point of them needing achievements and challenges and forcing you to use different formations, different tactics. We're not even gonna get into that because I preach that in my podcast all the time. But that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to give you guys my 2 cents in regards to the whole this game is dead, this game is not dead argument. Just from a regular point of view, the game blows. As a regular video game, the game blows. You know, it could be way better. We play it because it's football. That's the only reason why. It's literally the only reason why. I've been happy not playing this game because I've been less stressful, less salty, and like just normal, right? You could tell in this video I've progressively gotten more like I've kind of reached that little bit of a toxic point, right? And I've just never been like this in my life in general as I've been living it, because this is what this game does to you, right? It's not a game where you open and you look forward to playing anymore, and that's a huge problem, right? So that's my point of view in regards to why the game is dead and it isn't dead, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's probably a long one. It's probably like half an hour long. I apologize for that, but yeah, I'll see you guys for the next video tomorrow. Probably gonna do a podcast with a pro player to see what his thoughts are towards the new patch, to see what he thinks about it. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace, dudes. Love you.